the belief in the greatness of Nigeria, the need for us to celebrate diversity, and all these things, like our teacher, our role model writers pointed out. These are well embedded in our culture that very many of us don't take cognizance of. I'm already in the mood of celebrating my traditional festival, known as the Siru, amongst us the Ila people. What exactly does this traditional practice depict? During this period, for 7 days, the traditional rulers, the talking drummers, who I refer to as the chroniclers of history, they'll come to the palace dead in the night, chanting about the history of the people, that is my people, and telling the world, telling my people the achievement of the past Orogun, from Orogun Ajagunla Ifagbamila. Now, while sitting on the throne, I know that where I am is just transient. The power, life itself is transient. That I'm going to go the way of my forefathers. So, I have to do the work well. And it's important for our leaders to know that whatever position we have is transient. This you have in a traditional religion. Now moving from the palace on the D-Day, moving to a particular compound, I see the whole of the community all around me. It's to tell me that power belongs to the people. Power belongs to the people, and they must be consulted all the time. If you fail to consult the people, you are a goner. And you are moving from that point to where you celebrate the people at large. I know that just like Rosso, the General We, or John Locke, the social contract, you have all these in our traditional setting. But for who we are, hardly do we love anything that we don't see the wisdom, we don't see the greatness in what we are. That I have seen on the throne. We are a blessed people. And looking at the Ifa, I'm not a scholar of Ifa, but there's one aspect that I so much admire, and that is the Orogunmeji of Fumeji, the 16th Odu in Ifa. What does this depict? It's a life of give and take. It's a life of compromise, that you cannot see things from the same perspective. And a country like ours that is composed of many ethnic nationalities, it is important for us to appreciate that it's a give and take thing. You cannot have things the way you perceive it. So these are lessons to be learned. I listened to the paper presented by the learned professor talking about constitutional reform, need to rewrite the traditional rulers in the constitution. Yes, neither here nor there about that. We are doing what we are doing based on the 1999 constitution that was so much, these are well stated in the 1999 constitution, and need to end violence. It's important for all traditional rulers to widely and learn from what we have all across Nigeria. And nation building itself, the guest lecturer did mention that. Where exactly do we want Nigeria to be the next 60 years, the next 70 years? Very many of us were immediate people. We see history not being fluid, not being dynamic. We see culture not being static. We see culture as being static, as not being dynamic. But Nigeria is a Republican state. And the beauty of the Nigerian state is that we've been able to fuse the traditional system with the Republican state. And it's so beautiful. And we carry this to the whole world and let people know that, yes, despite the shenanigans that we've been experiencing over a long period of time, nation building is not a tea party, it's not a thing you get done overnight. It's always a process. And I've signed up myself to faith that it is, I might not see the greatness of Nigeria in my lifetime. But if my children, if my grandchildren, if my great-grandchildren can see the greatness of Nigeria, so be it. And it's important for all of us to work assiduously for that greatness to come, not necessarily in a lifetime, but in years to come. But the traditional institution is so important. It's an institution that you don't joke with, and not when you have our brightest and best now mounting our thrones. You now have our brightest and best all over small communities. They want their brightest and best to showcase their culture, to showcase their greatness, to show the world that yes, it's a great institution. Be that as it may, my teacher, my mentor that we used to call Shaft in those good days, he led us to do many of the things that we cannot mention. Yes, and we are so proud, and we are so proud of him. We are proud of him. And we pray that your tribe will expand in the land. And exactly like Baba Okwade Shiduade, I learned a lot from him. He was very fond of me. He sucked me in. Immediately, I became a king in 2006 because he was so surprised to see a vibrant, young, dynamic, according to him, on the throne. And I commend the family, and I pray that you people stay together. Please, it's a powerful family, and stay together. Let the bond of friendship, the brotherhood continue to exist in the family under the leadership of the priestly prince. God bless you.
It's always a delicate situation because the cultural legitimacy of the era of our forebears, or even right up to traditional rulers like Oni, Oluboshe, is not exactly what obtains now. In all frankness, there's been a lot of dilution. And culture is obviously not dynamic, and we also have to respond to that culture is dynamic. We have to respond to that dynamism as political leaders, because even the role of Ifa in the choice of Kabiyesi has become more controversial. Many will tell you, as much as we try to detach ourselves from the processes which has been laid down by law, and it's clearly one that actually puts traditional rulers under the supervision of local government authorities rather than state governments. It never really comes to you except as a fait accompli by the time it gets to the State Executive Council. The processes have been completed, the kingmakers have done their work, the secretary of the local government has submitted the report. So if you are going to get involved in that process, it's indirect, it cannot be direct. And when you insert yourself in the middle of processes, it almost always results in very, very unpleasant situations. So in principle, governors are not really directly involved, but politically, because they are very influential in their various domains, and governors need the votes and the cultural legitimacy that would enable them to at least be acceptable to the people at the local community. And Kabiyesi Abolarin made that very clear, that you need to consult the people. We often consult the people, not always directly, but through the Kabiyesis. And Kabiyesis will tell us that they are not Oshelu. Oshelu in Yoruba culture is the politician. But àwọn ọba ló nílùú, they own the land, they own the community, they own the people, they're their subjects. We would always have that love-hate relationship. And it's something that has to be navigated in the quest to blend tradition with modernity. And elected rulers almost always have to find a way to navigate that very complex relationship. I mean, I relate very well with Kabiyesi comrade Doxy. And even though he's a king in Osun State, but he's very well connected to Ekiti State, and he's almost always coming to advise me because he gets to hear things from my own Kabiyesis about what's going on, and he officially brings it to my notice. Kabiyesi Oni Ojaja II also is very active, even though he's in Ife, but his eyes sees what goes on in Ekiti. And sometimes when I have some challenges with our local traditional rulers in Ekiti, he drops by to help me navigate some of those tensions. And these are unwritten scripts, but they're very important scripts that we cannot neglect. No matter how modern we want to espouse our democratic tradition, cultural legitimacy continues to remain a very big factor. I always depend on my Egbon, Governor Ilola, because he's very grounded in those, is understandably the son of a king, the prince himself. So he knows how to navigate these things, and we go to him. And Governor Mimiko too, even though an old comrade, is also very adept at managing that situation. So that's how what we come from, but it's not that difficult for us.
Please subscribe to Facetv Africa and turn the notification on. Facetv Africa, subscribe, hete.
Face TV was Swoby.